All right, you ready? Watch this. Did you see everything that took place right there? Well, I'm about to show you. I covered a whole lot of elements that are really awesome, and I call it the $20 million routine, and I'm about to tell you why. I've been saving this video for you for a little while now because I wanted to hit at the right time, right before Ryder Cup time, because what you're gonna see as we head right up to the Ryder Cup is 24 of the best players in the world, the most nervous and the most pressure they'll ever feel in their whole career.
I mean, when I stepped up on the first tee in the first match, I literally could not feel my arms. And I've been really nervous before, and I was really nervous at the Masters, but I can still feel my arms. When I teed up at the Ryder Cup, literally could not feel my arms.
Yes, they've got their team to represent. They've got their country to represent. They're all wearing the same shirts and logos and uniforms, and they have a lot of pressure, especially playing in New York. And imagine the visiting team, how much pressure they're going to feel. Well, everybody has a best friend in golf, and all the great players in the world have their best friend in golf. And actually, your pre-shot routine is your very best friend, and it's their best friend too. I've always said that your pre-shot routine is your best friend and patience is your 15th club. But what I want you to know as you watch this video and then go watch the Ryder Cup is watch what they do before every shot. Under the most pressure, the most nervous they've ever been, and they're going to execute a pre-shot routine that gives them comfort, and it gives them aim, it gives them direction, it gives them a ritual, and it also gives them a countdown, so to speak, so that they know when to start their swing. Hi, my name is Greg Jones, and welcome to the channel Finish First. This is going to be a highly awesome video. I call it the $20 million pre-shot routine. And I call it that because when I was coaching at the University of South Alabama years ago, I had a great young player by the name of Heath Slocum. Yes, that Heath Slocum. And Heath and I spent 2 hours one day and 2 hours the next day working on his routine so he could take everything that he does in this little area on the road and be awesome and hit his targets. Yes, he won about 4 or 5 tour events. He even got the Battlefield promotion from what's now the Korn Ferry Tour to the PGA Tour. And just an amazing young man and an amazing player. But he was able to take his game everywhere he went because his best friend was his pre-shot routine. Let's get into the elements of this pre-shot routine that gives him great comfort that you can take for yourself and make it your own so that you can go play anywhere, any shot, hit your target with comfort. All right, let's talk about all these amazing elements in this $20 million routine. So I've got a nice little workstation set up here, practice station, and I've got some tees out front that I'm going to use as an intermediate target, and I'm going to discuss intermediate target right after this, so you'll want to stay tuned for that. And then I've got what I would call the hitting zone and the thinking zone. I've got a white stick here, kind of like an imaginary go line, I would say. You can do whatever you want back here. You can do your rehearsals, you can do your visualization, you can choose an intermediate target. There's a lot of things you can do back here. But once you cross this imaginary go line, that's when I say you're in the shot. And that's when I would start the stopwatch to time you over the course of a few shots to see if you're really consistent in your timing from step in to execution and hit so that you're starting to build some consistency. Remember, you can't build consistency unless you start with consistency, okay? So let's talk about some of these amazing elements. So in the walk-in, once I cross this imaginary line, I'm gonna take my grip right here in this nice neutral position, just like I showed you in the Scotty Scheffler video. And then we're gonna line up face to target with both hands on the club, with both hands on the club. That's a big deal because with both hands on the club, and if my face is square to the target, then I'm pretty much guaranteed that my forearms and my shoulders are gonna be square or parallel to the target line. So if I see somebody walk in one hand only like this, that's like nails down a chalkboard to me. I just don't like it. Here's why. Because I see a lot of opportunity when you go 1, 2, 3, 4, separate 5, 6, opportunities to get it wrong and to get offline or to get your ball position out of whack. So here's how this goes. So we're going nice grip, face to target with both hands on the club. I'm going to take about 2 seconds of care and get my feet square to the face. So that guarantees that my feet, knees, hips, and shoulders are square or parallel to the target line. And then I'm going to separate for ball position and stance width. So I've got 9-iron here, so I am separating for 9-iron ball position. If you have 4-iron, it might be different. If you have wedge, it might be different. So you're going to separate accordingly based on what club you're hitting. So face to target, feet to face, separate for ball position and stance width, and now you're done with like that setup part. Then comes the waggles and the looks, and we want those to be very, very consistent as well. So I'll just walk you through one and I'll talk it out loud for you. I've got my visualization, I'm picking my target. Nice grip, face to target, feet to face, separate for ball position and stance width. Waggle number 1, look number 1. Waggle number 2, look number 2. Waggle number 3, and go. Okay, so I'm always 3 waggles, 2 looks. That's me. You could be whatever you want to be. I think the last time I saw Tiger, he was 1 and 1. 1 look, 1 waggle, or 1 waggle and 1 look and go. So you can be whatever you want to be as far as waggles and looks. You just don't want to be that guy that doesn't know. Remember when Sergio was like just couldn't ever get it underway? He just couldn't ever get it going, and he would waggle and waggle and waggle and waggle and waggle forever, and you're wondering, when is he ever going to hit it? So I mentioned earlier that your routine is kind of like a countdown that tells you when to hit it. That's a big deal, and Dr. Bob Rotella talks about that a countdown is actually pretty healthy. And so that as I'm going through my face to target, feet to face, separate for ball position and stance width, and I'm doing my waggles and looks, I know that as I approach that last waggle, that I'm going to go after that last waggle. So it's kind of like preparing me to start the swing. So face to target, feet to face, separate for ball position and stance width. Waggle 1, look 1. Waggle 2, look 2. Waggle 3. And when I get to that waggle 3, I know that I'm about to start the swing. Here's a great thing, a tremendously great thing about being consistent with that. Because as I do my routine and I walk up and I do it correctly, and I start my swing, I say to myself, that was a great routine. This has to be a great shot. That was a perfect routine. This has to be a great shot. So not only is it giving me confidence, I'm so focused on my process of routine that there's a lot of benefit to what I'm not thinking about. Let me tell you what I'm not thinking about while I'm doing my routine. I am not thinking about giving my body verbal commands. I am not thinking about clearing left hip, firing the right elbow, releasing the club, keeping my head still, clearing the hips. No verbal commands to the body, only complete the process. Keep in mind, we did all of our swing training before we started playing. So this is what we want to take to the course so that we're very, very consistent in our process. So now, if you get in here, you know my routine. Face to target, feet to face, separate for ball position, stance width, 1 waggle, 1 look. Waggle, waggle, waggle. That's not me. That's not me, and I know it. And that light bulb just went off. That alarm just went off that said, wait a minute, Greg, that's not who you are. And whenever you get that, that's when it's time to back out. And I promise you with certainty, when you watch the Ryder Cup, given the pressure and what's on the line for each one of those players, they're going to step over a ball, get into their routine, and that alarm's going to go off and they're going to back out. You'll probably see it more during Ryder Cup than you'll see it any other time. So a lot of great stuff going on here. What I love about it is this little area right here, it goes wherever you go. So I know you're comfortable on your home golf course or your home driving range, but what if you go somewhere else? Well, as a Division I golf coach, I had to prepare my team to travel, to go to places and courses and holes they've never seen before. The only thing they could take with them with certainty that worked is what takes place in this little area right here. It goes wherever you go. So if you think about basketball players, you know, a basketball player might shoot a free throw in the first game of the season. The ref throws him the ball, he does his dribbles and shoots. Okay, he's going to do that in every stadium around the country, in every basketball arena. That free throw routine is going to stay the same. It's also going to be the same in game 1 of the season as it would be in the NBA Finals. It doesn't matter what's on the line. It doesn't matter the consequences. You just do the same thing over and over and over. So I would say, if you want to work on this, you can either video yourself or have a buddy just kind of stand by and say, well, he walks in, he sits the club down, he takes 2 waggles and 2 looks, and then he goes. And then help your buddy decide what's his pre-shot routine so that he can be more consistent, or you can video yourself. So however you want to do it is fine. You just want to have an idea that wherever you go, no matter the circumstances, you're going to always do the same thing. Here's another one for you. Here goes. Grip. Face to target, feet to face, separate for ball position and stance width, waggle down, look, waggle, look, waggle, go. And the great thing is when I leave the ball, I say to myself, that was a perfect routine. This has to be a great shot. What a great way to leave the ball. What a great way to start your swing. And it's nice to have that little countdown going on in your head that tells you, I'm about to start my swing, so that you have some certainty in about your process. So this is how we go about practicing and choosing an intermediate target. I've got 3 tees about 3 feet in front of my ball, 3 white tees about 3 feet in front of my ball. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk back here and I'm going to use my golf shaft as a guide. And I'm going to put the right edge of my golf shaft right up here against the golf ball. Here's the golf ball on my shaft as I look that way. And then here's you, the camera, right up here. And I can see that this middle tee is right in line with you or the camera. And now, as I walk in, take my great grip, I'm going to line up my face to the target and then take my stance and go about my business. Well, it's a lot easier to line up something that's only 2 or 3 feet in front of our golf ball than it is to something that's 150 yards away. So basically, we just brought a target that's real far away right here very close to us, thereby making it really easy to line up and get our aim correct. There's lots of video evidence of Jack Nicklaus and Tiger Woods profoundly setting up to their golf ball and looking down at their intermediate target and then the flag. Intermediate target and the flag. And it's a great way to practice aiming your face and making sure you get it correct every time. So one of the ways we build trust, I want you to have trust in your intermediate target. Well, I've already determined that that middle tee is the flag. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to walk in from this direction, and I'm never going to look up towards the flag, towards the camera, and I'm going to line up my face to the target, that middle tee, take my stance, go about my business, and hit my shot, and look up and see it flying right at the flag. That's a great way to build trust in choosing your intermediate target. Now, you can't just go throw a bunch of tees on the ground or coins to line up at, but you can find a piece of discolored grass, an old divot, a leaf, or something, anything that'll help you bring the target closer to you so you can line up and knock the flag out of the hole. All right, so I'm gonna hit 3 in a row for you. I'm not gonna say anything, I'm just gonna do it. And we're gonna put a timer in the corner so you can see how consistent I am. And remember, the clock starts whenever I cross this goal line. So I wonder how close those are in seconds and time to each other. And you can see, I would imagine, I don't know yet, but I would imagine they're all pretty close. So that's what I mean by you can't build consistency until you start with consistency. And it's very important that we get our thoughts correct as we're standing over the ball, and we're not thinking about knees, elbows, hips, shoulders, wrists, all of that. There's not enough time. So you just want to get it all done so you can swing. Awesome. And I left the ball. I started my backswing saying to myself, that's a perfect routine. This has got to be a great shot. What a great way to leave the ball. So I hope the ideas in this video about pre-shot routine really helps you. It's going to help you be more consistent. It's going to help you focus on the process more. It's going to eliminate that long list of swing thoughts that you don't want when you're standing over the ball. It's going to help you deliver under pressure. It's choke proof. So when you feel like you're choking, when you're 3 holes away from shooting your personal best score, remember your best friend is your routine. You do all your homework back here, and then you execute here in the execution zone, and you just do your routine, finish your swing, and that's the best you can do, and that's all you can ask of yourself. So when you watch a Ryder Cup, watch these guys. What do they do before every shot? What do they do as they walk in? What are their steps? And you're going to see they're pretty much the same with everything they do, including putting. So you're going to see some putting routines that are exactly the same over and over again as well. So go work on your routine, maybe get a buddy to help you or film it yourself and figure out what it is you do. You don't have to be great for 4.5 hours at a time. You just need to be great 10 to 15 seconds at a time to shoot your best scores so you can finish first. So as a coach who coaches a lot of tournament players, when a tournament's coming up, I sometimes catch my players with these expectations of score or finish or how many fairways or how many greens they're expecting to hit. And I always say expectations are dangerous. So I always want my players to have healthy expectations. And I always tell them my expectations of you are to pick a shot, commit to a shot, do your routine and finish, and do that for 3 days or for however long the tournament is. And that's all you can ask of yourself. You can't expect yourself to shoot certain scores. You can't expect yourself to hit a certain number of fairways. But what you can do is repeat the same process over and over and over so you can pick up and recognize patterns so you can make great decisions to shoot your lowest scores and finish first. All right, here we go with your new best friend, the $20 million routine. I call it the $20 million routine because that's about how much money Heath Slocum's made on tour. And we started working on this routine when he was in college, and he was a 3-time All-American. So the process is we want to make sure we get that face square to the target. We're going to use an intermediate target so we get aim, check mark. We want to get our feet square to the face so that we get our body alignment correct. Feet, knees, hips, shoulders aligned properly to the golf ball. That's another great check mark. Then when you start to separate your feet, you're going to get ball position and stance width right every time too. There's 2 check marks there. And then you want to be consistent with your waggles and looks so that you have a nice countdown that tells you when to start your swing so that you're not standing over it, waggling forever and running down a whole bunch of swing thoughts. We don't want swing thoughts. We want to focus on the process. And this is going to give you confidence. It's going to help you build consistency. Remember, you can't build consistency unless you start with consistency, and it starts right here. This is going to make you choke proof so that when you're coming down the stretch and you're about to do something special, you've got a new best friend to get you home. So I hope you like this video. If you think it's going to help you, please consider liking and subscribing. It means a lot to me. It encourages me to come out and bring you more great content so you can shoot your lowest scores consistently and finish first.